can hear myself now. All right. Good morning, Bob. Is the video shut down? Which video are you speaking of?
I can see you. You can probably hear me because it looks like the audio is up, but the video seems to be. It says cannot start video because it's disabled by the host.
Well, that's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my camera. If there's somebody else on and they're connected and you could see them, I don't see. I
Can
don't
you
see.
see me?
I
Because
see you
I'm
clear.
visible. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
you're the one that matters. You but right now, anyway. But
Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. And I receive it.
right. Sometimes we get a bad connection, and we'll say, "Oh yeah, the enemy got in there."
Yeah.
Remember the old Flip Wilson?
Yes, the devil made me do it.
Do you?
One thing that I found with my particular laptop is that there's a slide above the camera. So if you don't see the light on your laptop showing, well, at least for me anyway, I can tell my camera's working because I can see the light pointing right at me. So check that out and see if that
Yeah, I see
works.
the camera. I had to get an external camera because the camera on my laptop didn't work
Ah,
right. But
okay.
I see the light and I see the video and it has a little, the little red slash across it. Okay,
Yeah.
the host has asked you to start your video.
Yeah, there
Now,
you
there we
go.
go. But you were controlling it then. Okay, good, good.
No, not believe me, there's so many hosts on this thing, it's ridiculous. All
People,
right.
yeah, they
Oh, I
undo
love
Bob,
it.
something and,
it's
you got it.
it's the
All right.
universe, Bob.
Yeah. No,
The universe
it's
responding back to you,
technology.
Bob.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our morning reading, our empowerment, and our encouragement time. Our mastermind, our entrepreneurial mastermind, is what we officially call it. My name is David Gibson. I'm a qualified marketing director with a superb company called MWR, and it looks like there's mostly family here today. If there are any guests that are on this platform at this moment, would you please type a one in the chat so we can identify and welcome you in a very special way? Any guess? All right. Well, then, hey, family, good morning. Are you encouraged and excited? We're back together again, learning together and improving our mindset so that we can continue to build our businesses the way that they're supposed to be. I just finished watching the 5 minute video that corporate released. How many, if put a two in the chat, if you too have seen the new 5 minute, 22-second video that's going to be a great 1-2 punch. And I'll explain that in just a minute. All right, Deborah has, and Bob's going to. Okay. And D. Who is D? D. Okay, I gotta scroll. Who's D? Is that a D for Dr. Parker? Who's a
Hmm.
purple D? Identify yourself. Whoever you are, great. So let me tell you, folks, the corporate just continues to give us the tools that we need in order to be successful, and we really need to uh, it, take advantage of them and avail ourselves of them because man, that is a powerful piece of material there that again can be the first punch in a 2-step process. I can see it, and if anyone agrees with me or disagrees, that's fine too. But I can see sending that to a probable customer and following up with our 5-year wealth plan uh, calculator, and boy, I can see that our numbers are going to go up, and that revenue sharing enhancement is going to have to be put into place by the end of the month. So, with that said, let's get back and refresh ourselves on the book that we are currently reading, which is called The 12-Week Year. And as soon as I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me, guys. Got to get my sharing. Okay, more and share. I love technology, especially when it works right, you know? All right. I'm going to need a little bit of participation here. Just one thing. I need someone I can see. Bob, you're on top. Ron, you're also available. Give me a thumbs up if you see the words crafting your vision. Thumbs up. Great. All right. We're in business. So this is where we left off. Chapter 13. And what I wanted to see, I want to see the last hold on, I gotta there we go, move you over. I want to get to 13.1 to show the progress that we're supposed to make according to the authors in our thinking. Because remember in chapter 13, the title, if I get back there quickly. There we go, 13.1. Crafting our vision. The execution journey is first a thinking journey. If you think something is impossible, it is. And that's where most of the people that we're going to be introducing to our business and our platform, they're going to think that that's exactly what this is. It's impossible. They've never done it before. And if they have, then they've done something else, but it's not this, because we are the only company that builds wealth faster, smarter, and safer. So we start out, this is in any new task that we take on, that we, first of all, because we've never done it before, we believe it's impossible. That's our thinking. But then we ask ourselves the question, what if? What if I could make wealth real? That's the broad context. But what if I could be a 5-star regional director? Well, then our mind starts thinking it's possible. We move to the level of possibility. From there, we think, okay, it's possible. We know it. Somebody else has already done it. They've left clues. They've left breadcrumbs we can pick up on. But now I got to make it possible for me. So then the next question we ask ourselves is, how might I? How can I make it a reality for me to be that 5-star regional director? How can I do that? Once we do that, then we'll figure out, and that's when it becomes probable. And that's the beautiful thing, moving from possibility to probability. Now we've increased our chances multifold that it's going to happen for us. And that's when we start putting it into practice, doing those things that are necessary to make the probability a reality. Then we get it to the highest level, which is a given. And now it all starts with us, first of all, building our aspirational vision. You remember we had that exercise, what we want to have, do, and be in our lives. And we know that in order to have what we want, we have to do those things that are necessary. But first, we have to be what we need to be in order to get to do the things that we need to do in order to have the things we have. We need to flip that, because we have to be what's necessary in order to have what we want. So after we create our aspirational vision, we create the 3-year vision. And that's going to take some work. And I don't know if anyone has purchased the book and done that, but you really need to do this, because now we're moving into chapter 14, which talks about how to put this into practice for real. Building our 12-week plan, how to develop it. So I'm just going to read, because I got to hit the road this morning. Got a birthday party in Cincinnati, and I want to be thorough. I want to engage everyone, and again, make it so that we really want to make this a part of our process and help us to get to where we want to go, wherever that may be for you, whether it's 5-star or ambassador or whatever level in the revenue sharing plan you want, or to build the team that you want. Developing this 12-week plan is a tool that we can use to get there. So it says this chapter will guide you through the development of your first 12-week plan. Before you create a 12-week plan, you must define and commit to your vision. If you have not already done so, be sure to work through chapter 13, establish your vision, to prepare you to set an effective 12-week goal and to create a solid plan to reach it. So that's why I went back to chapter 13, because we really need to start there in order to make chapter 14 work. So again, if you haven't done so, get on it. Planning is beneficial. Unless your job is mostly reactionary in nature, it's hard to argue against the value of planning, because planning enables you to allocate your time and resources to your highest value opportunities. It increases your odds of successfully hitting your goals, and it helps you to coordinate your team, and it creates a competitive advantage. Now, I've obviously highlighted that because, man, all of those things are so true. If you want to hit your goals, if you want to coordinate your team, you got to have a plan. You can't just do the spaghetti against the wall thing when you're in business. You've got to have a direction you're going in, and you got to have a target you want to hit. Like I said, I'm about to travel to Cincinnati today. Now that's an easy one for me because all I do is get on I-75 and go straight. Well, it curves a little bit, but I don't have to deviate from that. I don't need GPS for that. Not until I get down closer to where my college roommate and his wife live. But in general, hey, at I-75 South, keep going till you see the sign that says Cincinnati. That's the goal. I've got a roadmap, already done it 15 bazillion times over the years. And so it's not a big deal. However, if I change my destination to San Diego, California, hey, now that's a little wider expanse from this end of the country to that end of the country. That's 2,000 miles. I'm going to need a better plan than just hit I-10 West. Now, I'm in Michigan right now. So I'm going to need a better plan than that, because the time that it will take to get to I-10 and then hang a right to go west, a little bit to that, there's a better way to do it. So in spite of the proven benefits of working from a plan, not everyone does so. One reason for this is that many people have a bias for taking action. While an action bias can be a good thing, it can also get in the way of effective execution. We can get impatient and want to get on with things too quickly. An effective plan takes time to create, and it requires some hard work. It may seem counterintuitive, but by taking time to plan up front, the overall time and effort to complete a task can be significantly reduced. What comes to mind from this paragraph is the old adage that what would you rather do? Would you want to spend 10 hours chopping down a tree, or would you spend 9 hours sharpening your axe and 1 hour chopping down the tree? You see the difference? So another reason that many people don't work from a plan is that they have a belief that goes something like, I already know what I need to do, so I don't need to plan to get it done. And that's, again, by using the analogy of my travel today, I know how to get to Cincinnati. I've done it before. I don't need a plan to get there. But again, if I'm going to California, yeah, I need a better route. On the surface, this may seem reasonable, but unfortunately, there's almost always a gap between what people know and what they do. Now, this is where our experience with MWR comes in, because there's so much information out there on the net about finances and how to improve them and how to get money and how to do this and that regarding personal finances, that people can say, well, I can do this on my own. But guys, how many do it? That's the thing that it says. Yeah, you probably do know how to save money effectively, or how to invest if you ever get there, or how to cut your expenses, how to buy better insurance. You may know those few things, but do you have a system? Do you have a strategy? Do you have someone who can do it for you so that you can take time to do what you're better at? People, unfortunately, and a lot of business owners are like this as well, they would rather, because they don't trust people, and because they think that since there is so much information out there on the net, they're smart enough to do it on their own. But then there's a time factor. There's only one of you, okay? And subject matter experts are subject matter experts for a reason. They studied it. They're doing it. You just have to know whether you can trust them or not, and if their results are going to be the same for you. Now, thankfully, our company has experts that are doing it every day, that are getting the results because we got testimonies that support it, and we can trust them. And it's a strategy. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not, you're going to be, you put $500 in and you're going to get $5,000 out tomorrow. No, that's not us. Because look at the examples they give us. For example, many people want to get in better physical shape. This is a good one. And virtually all of them know that it takes a healthy diet and exercise. But sadly, most people don't ever become more fit. And that's because simply knowing what to do isn't enough. The world is noisy. The unexpected happens. Distractions arise. Our innate desire for comfort tugs at us, and we lose focus on the things that we know we should do. So that's why, to increase your odds of success, one of the most powerful things you can do is to create and work from a written plan. I highlighted written because if you keep it up here, once you go to sleep, your plan is gone. But if you got a written plan, then you can place it in a place where you can reach for it, you can grab it, you can review it. It's there. And it's something about, and I know we've heard this so many times before, when you take the time to take your thoughts and reduce them to paper, to actually write it, it solidifies. It's part of our brain function that once we not only see it in our mind's eye, but we see it in our physical eye by writing it on ink or pencil, whatever you want to write it on. That helps to make it more of what you need to be successful. 12-week planning isn't just valuable for business. A well-written plan can positively impact almost any area of your life. J.K. McAndrews tells this story about his son in the 12-week year. My son Kevin, this is the story. My son Kevin is a senior at LSU, and a couple of years ago, he was really struggling. Oops, sorry. He was really struggling with balancing his time between school, fraternity, and his job with the football team. Over Christmas break that year, I taught him the basic principles of the 12-week year, and beginning with the next semester, he developed clearly defined goals with strategies and tactics to support them. And just a real quick interjection here. The father taught the son, and the son took action. That's important for us as we build our teams. You share something that's going to help with somebody, and then it's up to them to take the action. You can't do it for them. They've got to do it for themselves. Since then, he sends me a weekly plan every Sunday night and even added his own wrinkle by finding an inspirational quote that will motivate him for that particular week. Wow. So not only did father teach son, gave him the basic principles, didn't go through the whole thing, and the son took action, and then look at what he did. He made himself accountable to his dad by sending him this weekly plan. He didn't have to do that, but he did it anyway so that it would also add another measure, because back in the planning stages we looked at in chapter 13, sharing it with someone is a sure way of helping to make sure that you stay on track and keep your focus, because that person that's your accountability partner is one that's not going to judge you, but is going to encourage you and give you that, I don't want to say harsh wake-up call, but realistic check and balance. That's what accountability partners are for. And then he added to it an inspirational quote. His grades have improved, and more importantly, he has a better focus on his goals. and he's more organized and has definitely come to understand the term greatness in the moment. And guys, remember, the past is history, the future, tomorrow's a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Greatness in the moment. This is the time we have today. So what are you going to do today in order to make your dreams come true? So next slide is game changer. Operating in the 12-week year execution cycle creates an increased premium on the value of time. In 12 weeks, each day counts towards reaching your goals. The value of each moment is brought into sharp focus when there are only 12 weeks in your entire year. One of the benefits that comes from applying the 12-week year is learning to act in the moment, because that's where the future that you will experience is being created. Just a confirmation of what I just said. Living your life in the moment, however, can be done in two very different ways, either reactively or proactively. If you are reactive in the moment, you risk taking suboptimal actions because the primary drivers of your actions are input triggers. The phone rings, email dings, new task appears, someone knocks on your door, and off you go. And this reminds me of that list that Ron told us about. That when a gentleman who was keeping that list, I forgot his name, but Ron, you can chime in later. That he said when he was offered an opportunity, he pulled out his list of things that he wanted to get done, his tasks that he had to do, and he looked at it and said, "No, that's not on my list today. Sorry." And that's a great way to filter things. Don't get sidetracked by what these things that he just listed triggers: the phone, email, new task. Be deliberate, be intentional, have a plan, and then execute that plan. It is difficult in the moment to know what your highest value activities are because you are not typically choosing between good activity and bad activity. You're choosing between higher value and lower value activity. And that ranking often isn't clear in the moment. That's a good distinction. So that you can have a choice between two good things, but really, if it's not to you a higher value activity, then you shouldn't do it. Okay, that's why 12-week planning is so beneficial. With an action-based plan, you don't have to rely on input triggers to initiate your actions. Instead, your plan triggers your actions. Your action choices are made proactively at the beginning of the 12 weeks when you create your plan. In short, a 12-week plan helps you to get more of the right things done each day. And ultimately, it helps you reach your goals faster and with greater impact. Right things done each day. You've already determined what those right things are when you created the plan. That way, when you execute the plan and act on it, then that helps you reach your goals faster and with greater impact because you're focused. You're not letting distractions take you off task and move you off the plan. Back to the travel analogy. If I plan ahead, like I know I'm going to get on I-75, I know where I'm going to get on it. I'm going to go there 4 hours and 15 minutes later, I'll be in Cincinnati. I got that. So I don't have to go off on toll road 80 or any of the other state roads because I know where I'm going. I planned it already and I know how long it's going to take. I know how much gas I have in my car. I know I need to make one stop to check my tire and I'm off. I'm good to go. Another benefit of the 12-week planning is a fiercely consistent focus on the few vital actions that drive your results. You can't effectively pursue a large number of different things in a 12-week year because there simply isn't enough time to get everything done. In 12 weeks, you only focus on the minimum number of actions that are most important to hit your goal. And that, guys, that takes planning, that takes thought. That's why the chapter 13 was so important. You've got to sit down, take the time, figure out what goals you want to hit so that you're not distracted because life be lifing. You might as well include in your plan life challenges. It's going to happen. There's a saying that, if we're not currently in a storm. We're either coming out of one or we're about to go in one. The storm is there. It's going to be there. You're going to go through it, but it's how you go through it and how, who you depend on to get through it. So that's what this is going to help us to do. You stay focused. You also benefit from 12-week planning because of the short time horizon. Uncertainty is reduced due to the shortened time frame, and as a result, you can plan effectively at the action level. Annual plans are typically not action-based because it's nearly impossible to predict the action needed 4 more months out. This is the profound benefit of the 12-week year. Due to increased uncertainty, most annual plans are objective-based and cannot be executed as written. That's sad, but it's true. Typical annual plans tell you what has to be achieved, but they don't specify how. That's so true. I've been in corporations where, the goal has been set by the CEO up high, and in this particular company I'm thinking of, the C-level folks weren't even here in the U.S. They're over in France because the company was purchased by a French company years before I joined. So the folks that really made all the major decisions for the entire company weren't even based here. So they had an idea from reports that filtered up what the landscape was here, but they weren't here on the ground. And they didn't tell you how to do what needed to be done. They just said, hey, this is what we want. Let's hit this target and let's do it by the end of the year. Okay. So I think we've all been there and done that. So, but if we haven't, then this is what typically happens. When the how is not clearly defined, you lose a sense of scope and can easily take on more than you can physically execute. So instead of being narrowly focused on this is how I'm going to do what I need to do to get these goals, you incorporate other things that may work to help you reach your goal instead of saying, this is what I know, this is what I'm going to do. And if I need to pivot, I'll be ready because I'll be doing a due plan review so that I can make sure I stay on target. The daily and weekly hows of a 12-week plan makes it execution friendly. When you get down to action level granularity on your plan, you are setting yourself up for success. And here's how our friend Patrick Morin describes his experience with 12-week planning. Mr. Morin says, my passion for the 12-week year began with a challenge to drop 38 pounds that just wouldn't go away. The period goal, strategy, and tactics fit perfectly into solving my nagging weight problem and also gave me exactly the right tools to prepare for a triathlon. After reaching my goal and buzzing with my new fitness, I looked around for other ways to apply the 12-week year. At that time, we were raising money for a new startup company in the healthcare industry. We had started in earnest in January, writing all the required documents and preparing the product. The process was taking longer than we had anticipated, and we continued to have to fund the company internally. It was straining both resources and patience. It seemed to me that this would be the perfect place to implement the 12-week year. On a Monday in early July, I gathered the senior staff to plan it out. The critical objective was pretty clear. In order for the idea and the company to survive, we would have to finish the private placement memorandum and raise the money in the next 12 weeks. The economic climate at the time could best be described as dismal. Investors in general were hard to come by, and this would require a Herculean effort. The vision for the company was clear. The next step was to create a 12-week plan to acquire funding. We had to forget the previous 6 month slog and focus only on the 12 weeks ahead. Using the battle cry, every day is a week, we finished a 100-page PPM in the first week. We got it to our legal team for review, and a week later, we were greenlighted. That's when the real energy kicked in. Reaching out to a network of hundreds of people that were personally known to each of us, we found a critical mass of people willing to step in, and we closed the first round on October 10th. Now, look at that. From July, let's say just after the 4th, until October 10th, exactly 90 days or thereabouts, they got it done. The energy created around this effort continued through our development efforts, and each of our projects took on its own 12-week year. The company's cadence was remarked upon by investors, employees, and officers alike. So the implementation of the 12-week year was noticeable, and it was successful, and it paid off in this particular instance. And look at it, it paid off in two different ways. Personally, he reached his health goal by losing the 38 pounds and qualified for a triathlon. And then he took it to his business and hit a goal that seemed what? Impossible. Remember, we talked about impossible to possible, then to probable, and then to given. Perfect example right here in front of us. A good plan fosters solid execution. And here we go with the driving. Imagine driving cross country with directions that have turns out of order, combine several instructions into one, and leave out big chunks of the trip. You'd probably want to smack the person who created those directions and would either stop to get better directions or give up and go home in frustration. Now, that may sound silly, but I bet that you would be surprised by how many people create business plans just like those bad directions. We see plans all the time that are missing steps, lump complicated, time-consuming process into a single tactic, and have actions out of sequence. Worse yet, rather than specifying the actions needed to reach the goal, many times the plan is just a collection of thoughts and ideas. They're just spitballing. It would be like driving from Miami to Chicago using directions that says something like, get in your car, drive in the general direction of Chicago. Plans like this are way too common and they keep you from executing. Writing an effective 12-week plan is key to accomplishing great things in only 12 weeks. The plan defines the actions that you will need to take each week of the 12 to reach your goal. I'm going to pause here I should have asked before, does anyone have any anecdotes or anything they'd like to share so far on building a 12-week plan? Dr. Parker. Yes, sir. See your hand raised.
David, hey, listen, it's exciting to be back in the saddle with you again, my friend. Here we go again with our Saturday morning reading. Outstanding job so far. We talk about the plan, right? 12 weeks. You better lay it out. You better put it on paper. You talked about how important that was, but it's deeper than that to me. I mean, it's biblical, right? God says, make it plain. Write it down. So we've got to lay the plan out. We're given instructions, but again, the challenge is us following those instructions. So again, I mean, wishful thinking, you can believe all you want to that these things are going to happen. I'm believing God for this. I'm believing God for that. You better put the plan together because faith without works is dead, my friend.
That's right. And the people perish for lack of what? Vision.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Wow.
Knowledge and vision. That's right. Thank you for that interjection. Anyone else? All right. Let's see where we're at. All right. New chapter, new piece. Long-term capacity versus short-term results. Plans can build both capacity for the future and drive short-term results. Every plan should have a goal to drive results in the current 12 weeks. If the plan is for your business, this means that it should always target income to be realized in the current 12 weeks. And guys, we have a goal right now. We've been offered a chance to get a revenue sharing plan enhancement if we execute. Our CEO has given us a challenge, and it won't take 12 weeks because we only have, what is today, the 22nd, 9 days to execute. So we're compressed, and I know that there have been the leaders on this Zoom and those that will be on in our training later are all solidifying their plans on how to get teams and individuals ready to execute on the steps that are necessary to make that a reality. But think about this too. In 12 weeks from now, that's 3 months. So we're in August, September, October, November. We're going to have within that time frame, we're going to have our trip to Fort Lauderdale, which is, I know the corporate is planning that to be even better than our Charlotte experience. And then we're going to have the holiday months coming up. So within the next 12 weeks, a lot of things are going to be happening. People are going to be focusing in on finances. School has just started back for most of the country. So the people are really honing in on their personal finances. So what we have at MWR is so important and is so encouraging to know that corporate's not sitting on their laurels and is actually encouraging us and helping us to make our dreams come true, to make our idea of what wealth is to be real for us. Some plans may also target building future capacity. That's where we get into residual income and passive income, continue to make our money work for us. Capacity objectives include things such as pursuing education, hiring staff, updating technology, implementing new systems, and so on. Effort and resources expended to build capacity happens immediately, while the benefits are realized sometime in the future. That's why it's important to always have activity in your plan that creates required short-term results. This brings to mind the fact that the outcomes of our activity, we need to have daily activity plans because momentum will be built with consistency. As long as we're doing the right things on a daily basis so that we don't have to jump in and have this massive push for something that we want to build slowly and surely and completely, so that once that strategy and system is in place, it just continues to produce results on its own. We're building something. If you think with that mindset that how can I put something in place that will take care of me and my family for years to come, for decades to come. This is the way that we can do this with the mindset that this author is helping us to realize. So how do we build one? An effective plan structure. The structure of the plan that you write matters if you want to set yourself up to be successful. A good plan starts with a good goal. That makes sense. If your goal is not specific or measurable, the plan that you write will also be vague. The more specific and measurable your 12-week goals, the easier it will be to write a solid 12-week plan. Reminds me of that acronym SMART, and having a SMART goal. It already says specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and then time sensitive. So that's how you build a SMART goal. And that's what they've already mentioned the first two pillars of that. Many 12-week efforts are comprised of 2 or 3 goals. For example, you might have a 12-week goal to lose 10 pounds and another goal to generate $105,000 in new business. Each of these goals then becomes a planning target for which you need to write tactics. Tactics for the weight goal are specific actions you must take to achieve your desired weight. If you are working to lose weight, Your tactics might include limit calorie intake to 1,200 per day and do 20 minutes of cardio 3 times per week. Note that these tactics start with a verb and are complete sentences. The way that you write your goals and tactics matters. Your income goal of 105,000 would have a separate set of tactics. There are 5 criteria that will help you create better 12-week plans when you're writing goals and tactics. Excuse me for 1 second, guys. Hold on.
Hey guys, while we wait on David to return, this book is called The 12-Week Year. How to get more
Sorry
done in
about that.
12 weeks
I'm
in most
back.
people's year. I'm sorry, David. I just jumped in to kind of fill the space, but I was letting the group
I
know
appreciate it.
we're pretty close to finishing this book, aren't we?
Let's see. Let's look at the chapters here.
And we may need
Uh,
to start looking at our next read at some point. But I'll
we've
get out
got
of the way.
we've got 7 more chapters.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good.
All right, sir. Thank you for that. I'm multitasking. Like I said, I'm you got to plan your trip. So, criteria 1 for building a better 12-week plan. You ready? For each goal and or tactic, be sure to quantify and qualify what success looks like. How many calls will you make? Oh, that's a good one. How many pounds will you lose? How far will you run? How much income will you earn? The more specific you can be, the better. Criteria 2, state them positively. Focus on what you want to happen that is positive. For example, rather than focusing on a 2% error rate, you would target a 98% accuracy rate. And let's stop right there. That is such an important distinction. Most people tend to focus on the negative, like, oh, we missed our target by 5%. Wait a minute. You hit a 95% success. You got a 95% success rate. Accentuate the positive. Now, criteria 3, ensure they are a realistic stretch. This is the attainability portion. If you can accomplish the goal without doing anything differently, then you probably need to stretch more. If it is absolutely impossible, then factor it back a little. If you have never asked for a business referral in your life, a tactic like ask for referrals in every client interaction might be a bridge too far. A more realistic tactic that will still be a stretch might be ask for a referral in at least one client meeting each week. See that difference? One's really broad and really, really big, and the other one's a little bit more focused, a little bit more attainable. Criteria 4, assign accountability. This applies to people who are executing as part of a team. If you're on your own, the accountability is all yours. Individual accountability for each goal and tactic is critical. Everyone's challenge is no one's challenge. Be time bound, criteria 5. There is nothing like a deadline to get things started and keep them moving. Make sure to include a date by which the goal is to be reached or the tactic is to be executed. In addition to the previous criteria, each tactic should start with a verb, be a complete sentence, and be executable as written in the week that it is due. Figure 14.1 illustrates a sample. So let's see what this thing looks like in real time. Whoa. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I went too far. All right. So There we go. Now, this is pretty small. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So this first part here are the goals. There are three of them. The first one says, for those of you who can't see it, close $105,000 in new business. And then the second goal is lose 10 pounds. And then the third goal is improve my relationship with Carol, which we hope is his wife. So the first goal, to close 105,000 in new business. It says ID the top in profile opportunities. So he's got, let's see, tactics 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tactics to reach that goal of closing 105,000 new business. For his goal of losing 10 pounds, he's got 5 tactics there. And then for Carol, I'm not going to comment on this. I'm just going to share it. He has, and it's a good one, improve his relationship with his wife, have a date night without the kids once a week. So you see, each goal has a different set of tactics to reach it, but it's got let's see, it has little, let's see, tactics and review there, join a health club. I was looking to see if it had time sensitivity attached to it, but we'll see. Let's look at the next slide. Hello. Yeah, I didn't reduce it enough. Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry. Boy, I tell you. All right. Okay. Establish your 12-week goals. Deciding where you're going is the first step to getting there. Effective planning absolutely begins with a well-written, specific, and measurable 12-week goal. A goal that you own, that if you hit it, creates meaningful benefits for you. A goal that makes a difference. Now, wait a minute. The 12-week goal is the bridge between your vision and your 12-week plan. Your 12-week goal should be a realistic stretch for you. If it isn't realistic, you will become discouraged. If it isn't a stretch, you don't need the 12-week year because your current way of operating will achieve your goal. Logical. So it's now time to set your 12-week goal that aligns with your long-term vision and also represents greatness for you in and of itself in the next 12 weeks. Now, get started by going back to chapter 13 to review your long-term and 3-year visions. Decide on the progress that you are willing to commit to achieving in the next 12 weeks. Once you've decided on your 12-week goal, record it. And then he leaves space in the book to do just that. Record your 12-week goals. The best 12-week goals are realistic, but enough of a stretch that they will call on you to deliver your very best. And then the question, why is your 12-week goal important to you? If you hit it, what will be different? So that's a combination of your why and then looking for the benefits of doing what you say you want to do. Okay. So those are the 2 things that need to be done. Now, can I have, let me stop sharing here for a minute before we get into writing the plan. So I know I've done this the last time we were together or the time before that. I asked who in the group had an actual copy of the book, or so has that increased? If you have your own copy of the book, could you put a 3 in the chat? Okay, Fernando, bam. Oh, you were just helping Bob out. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have a copy of the book? Okay, yep, Fernando, obviously. Rich, of course, yep. And Dr. Parker, okay. Anybody else? All right, guys. So chapter 13 and 14, this is the execution portion of the book. The previous 12 chapters were the theory behind what the 12-week year is all about. Okay, Monifa gets got it. Okay. If we don't have, if we're not ready to do the execution piece, then it's really just, again, a great time listening to my voice and my little anecdotes to help the understanding a little bit better. This really becomes a tool for us if we acquire it and we read it for ourselves and come ready to share, because it would be really nice at this point to get some examples of the 12-week goals. Or if somebody wanted to share, of course, it's not mandatory, but it would be helpful. Just like we when we share a testimony from our company, somebody else can relate to that and say, you know what? Here's somebody who had the same problem I have, and they were able to overcome it, and now they're much better off for it. It's the same thing here. Before I was disorganized, I was all over the place with what I was doing with my time, and I wasn't reaching my financial goals. But then I implemented this system, this tool, and now I'm on the other side. It's part of what we did earlier this month. It reminds me of us building and evolving our story. We went to those of us who were participating in the storytelling masterclass that Tammy Turner gave us a brief history or a brief sample of in Charlotte, and then held the masterclass for us to dive deeper. Tell you, it was a very beneficial thing, and that's the thing that our company does, is not only help you to have the tools in your back office to build your team and to grow your paycheck, but then also to improve your mindset and to sharpen those tools, because sometimes our axes and our other our tools, they get dull, and we need to sharpen them. We need to add, and we may need to add a skill to our skill set that we didn't have before, or hone it, expand it, improve on it, because we're humans, and we get comfortable, and we know that success, that growth is outside of our comfort zone. That's where growth happens. So if you're either stuck in a rut or at a plateau for a goal that you had personally, you might want to look at how well your tools are sharpened. Like that example I gave for chopping down the tree. You can spend 10 hours with a dull axe, or you can sharpen that axe and spend an hour chopping down that tree. So I'm going to take a break here because we're almost at 10:30, and if there's any questions or any more inspiration that the team would like to present at this time, please feel free. Come off mute and share with us, because we're all here to encourage one another and help one another to be better. All right, we've got Fernando and Dr. Parker raise their hands. So Fernando.
David, it's great to be back with the family
Sir.
here. Hey, amazing read. I think, you know, I take notes. I have the book, but I also take notes because I learned from you. And that road trip you talked about and becoming intentional, I think it's what this is all about. And when you have a reason why you're going to do something in your life, and this book actually puts it together for you by digesting things in a very simplistic way, a 12-week plan. It's basically compressing timeframes. I've learned this early on in business, from a mentor that I used to like hearing, Mr. Art Williams, back in the 90s. He has a speech called the Do It speech, right? And he talks about no matter what situation you're in, the winners are going to do it. and they're just gonna do it. So I think when you become intentional, is when you trigger a reason why you're doing something, and you start to become creative, and creative becoming creative allows you the tools of not to worry about the how-tos, but more like, if I have a reason why I'm going to do something, I will figure out a solution to get there. But this book breaks things down in regards to your spiritual life, your family life, your income, your health. These small goals are important to align yourself. But when you become intentional, it becomes automatic. Everything you do daily, by being intentional, moves you closer to the things you want to accomplish. And that's one thing that I've learned. That's why I was able to quit my job back in 1995, because I became intentional. One thing I've always talked about is time freedom and controlling your own economy. So if I know that I can do the activities that generate income, that generate a better health, a better spiritual life, I feel good about who I am and what I do daily. So it allows me to connect with people, start a conversation, because the conversation becomes intentional, because we know, David, that most people are they're going through difficult times at all times, and I see that every day, everywhere I go, with people that I talk to. So when you become intentional, you listen to people. What is a traditional topic? Family, occupation, recreation. So if you talk about these things, you're going to find their motives. And when you do that, and your conversation is intentional, then you switch that from that to, by the way, if I could help you spend more time with your family, if I could help you, work less hours and make more money, if I could help you, enjoying those traveling trips that you're thinking about, would you be open to listening to some information? These are the daily conversations that we're able to have with people, because we know that when we become intentional, we become helpful to others. So you became helpful to me this morning, David, and it's great to be back. Thank you so much. This was an amazing read. Thank you.
Dr. Parker.
Hey, David, something I thought about, and you kind of brought this to my attention. 12 weeks is 90 days. We're used to doing it. That's a 90-day run. That's what we've always done in this industry. So it makes even more sense to me now. 90 days, commit to that, and your life changes. We always talk about that. And many of you have done it, and you've seen it happen. So 12 weeks, no different than 90 days. The numbers are the same. Let's go get this thing, man.
Yes, sir. It hit me this morning. 12 weeks, 90 days. Let's do it.
Amazing. It's amazing. I think the thing that holds us all up is just the level of commitment required is like nothing we've ever done. But in order to have what other people don't have, you got to be willing to do what others won't do. And that's where we get stuck. What sort of commitment are you willing to make? We talk about our why. What are your reasons for doing it? It's got to be deep. It's got to be heavy, because it's easy to get thrown off track, to get distracted. Life happens, as you mentioned, things get in the way, but you've got to be willing to fight through to get on the other side. We applaud those who succeed at a high level, but I promise you, if you had a chance to sit down with them, there'd be tears in your eyes with the stories that they tell you of the struggle, the hardships, what they face, but they fought through. And that's the only thing that separates you, me, and anyone who succeeded on a high level. And the only reason, honestly, can I be candid? The only reason we're not there, we're not committed enough. We're not intentional enough. We don't want it bad enough. It reminds me of the story of the man who had the hound dog sitting on his porch, and the kid would walk by every day. The dog is just moaning. You guys heard this story before. And one day the kid asked the man, why did that dog sit there and moan all day? He was moaning this morning, he moaned in the afternoon. The man said he's sitting on the nail. The kid said, why doesn't he move? Well, it just doesn't hurt bad enough. And I think that's where many of us are. It doesn't hurt bad enough. We get comfortable just getting by. So we're in survival mode. So I got through the week. I paid all the bills. I've got nothing left, but at least the lights are on. The kids are fed. And we think we begin to believe that that's enough. So we got by, because the majority of people are doing the exact same thing. I keep telling this story. I was paid on Friday, broke on Monday, living paycheck to paycheck, working just to pay bills, and destined to die broke. And all that has changed because of my commitment to this opportunity that MWR has given me. and I'm just taking full advantage of it, David. And I'm going down swinging, man. I mean, honestly, you'll listen. God forbid something happens, but you won't forget me. I'm touching lives. I'm hitting people right square in the mouth, man. I'm letting them know that life is worth living. We've got something to shoot for. Let's go for this thing, and it's here for us. I'm excited all over again, man. I just can't wait. I'm so happy to be back on the platform Saturday mornings with the reading, the overview, and the training. Fernando Ramirez has become one of the best friends I have in the entire world. To push for this, to stay steady, consistent. This guy doesn't fail you, man. If you're on the team with him, you're going to win. No doubt about it. I love you for that, brother. But we got something. Bob Davila, it's great to see you back in the saddle again. It was good to see you in Charlotte, Ron Copeland, and all of those who are here this morning. Let's bring someone with us next week. And let's build this book club. David says we've got a few more chapters. We'll transition into our next book. We're taking suggestions as to what that next book should be. There's a lot of good reads out there, but we want to be inspired. We want to be motivated. We want to be given direction. And that's what these Saturday mornings are about. So, I mean, I woke up to this. I'm on fire. My day has started. I've had my breakfast and my coffee. Now I'm filled with this reading, which gives me a huge advantage, you know, going out there into this world, sharing this opportunity. So next up, it is the opportunity, the overview, and then we get some training on how to actually build this business. Ron Copeland, if it gets any better, I won't be able to stand it. I'm so excited to watch you. What I'm planting daisies and everything's coming up roses.
You know, Dr. Parker, you just hit on a very interesting part of this, the thing that we're doing together, why we come together for these activities that we're doing this morning. Most people, like our presentation said, they're stuck, and you said it too. They're stuck in just getting by. They're just driving and they're not thriving, they're striving. And it's because when we were younger, when we were children, we're coming up, the world was our oyster. It was all available to us. Nobody told us that we couldn't do what we wanted to do. They encouraged us to keep going after our dream. Then somewhere along the way, somebody or life itself said, nah, just keep doing that 40, that 40 plan, bro. That's all you can do. You can get those dreams when you get, now my age, I'm over 65. Then you can go ahead and have what you want. Really? I gotta spend 40 years doing something for somebody else so that I can spend hopefully another 40 years. It's not promised to us, right? Doing what I want? Really? That's the way I'm supposed to live my life? I don't think so. So I'm thankful for MWR myself because, again, like I said at the beginning of this reading time this morning, the company has really given us a great intro to anyone at any level of income or, you know, challenge in their financial lives to at least look at what we have. And then if we come back and say, hey, what did you like best about what you just saw for those 5 minutes? Do you have an extra 10 or 15 where I can show you a wealth plan that could be tailored for you, built on what you want and what you want to achieve? Would you be interested? 1, 2. Bam. Ron, what you got?
Yeah, well, one is a question of
Yes, sir.
where do I find that video that you said is 5 minutes and a few seconds? And
In the Telegram group, it just the latest post is
Okay.
a link to that video. Let me tell you what I'm gonna go look real quick to see if it's the very last post in there. Give me 2 seconds. It is excellent. Let me just say that again. Excellent. All right, MWR. Yep, here it is. Yep, it's today's pinned post.
Okay.
New intro video just released is the title.
All right, I'll get that. Thank you very much. And the other thing is,
Ed, all
go
right, so
ahead.
you're very welcome. 5 minutes, 22 seconds.
Okay, that's good. All right, I got a comment here. There's to enhance our ability to have an effective plan that we remember and instigate. That's a good enough word. Instigate, do. The the studies show that if you write it out in your handwriting, that it's actually remembered better and implemented better. They did that lovely little test, whoever they are. They
Yeah.
did that lovely little test where they put people in the have it typing versus handwriting. And the handwriting people remembered and did things much more. The reason you do the handwriting is because it fires off so many other areas and focuses the information in your brain better. So write it first, then type it out and read it every day.
Sure. Yeah, because now we've got the way our phones work and the way our email works. We can just type a piece of the word, and then the technology fills in the rate. So we do now. It's an even worse break now, Ron, with the fact that our technology completes our sentences,
Yeah.
completes our words. So when you have to focus in on how to spell it and writing it down and putting it in a coherent sentence, yeah, you got to use more of what's up here in order to write it down rather than, depending on technology to help you fill it out. And hey, we've got AI now where we can just put some words in, tell them what we want, and boom, they just fill it in. I know Fernando built his vision, which is really great. If he can, one day, next week, we'll have him show it to us again, based on AI. I did mine on a spreadsheet. He did his using the new latest technology. It was great, pretty, same thing. So there's all sorts of things at our disposal, but you're right. It's the writing down that just really solidifies it so much more. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
David, Ron, good observation. That's the reason why I do have a little board in front of my desk, because if an idea pops up and it aligns with my daily activities, I look at it every day. So it allows me to remind myself. And as Ron says, when you write it down, it gives you a feeling and a connection to the writing. So you can use a notepad. Like me, I always have a notepad handy, or my little board in front of me. It refreshes, the triggering points to gear yourself into action. So Ron, thanks for that observation. It's so true. Yeah, AI, it's a great compliment, David. But when you start to really look at AI, and you start to think about the things that we have used before, nothing will ever replace having a notepad. I got, all kinds of tools on my phone. We all do. But having this notepad and writing things down, it brings you back to being a kid when I was a
Yeah.
child. Writing things. I,
Yeah.
I don't know what I was writing, but the emotion attached to it gave me so much imagination to think about something amazing. So it's true. Thanks, Ron, for that.
You're
Hey,
welcome.
hey, Bob. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Ron.
Oh, okay, I was thinking about saying something. The notepad concept is the study on the most powerful people and the most successful people. The thing that they would not do without is carrying a notepad with them.
At
That's
least
it.
do it. Hey, Bob, did you figure out how to get your hand raised? It doesn't matter. I know you want to say something, so go ahead.
No, I just wanted to thank you guys, David, Fernando, Dr. Parker. Even Jesus spent 3 years walking with the disciples to teach them how to go. And this book is great. I'm going to go through this. I got to get through this real quick because the book seems awesome. But one of the things that all these books have sometimes missing gaps. And I remember when I was in sales and they put me in the hood to sell door to door. And I said, these people will never open a door for me. And I knocked on about 400 doors, to the point where I went to a guy who was a leader in the group, and I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is ridiculous. I don't have what it takes. 400 doors. And the guy said, I want to teach you something. And he says, we just went to Mr. Johnson's house down the block. He said, I want you to watch what I do. He knocked on the door. The guy came out. He said, what do you want? Whatever you want, I don't have it. He says, hey, look, I was just down the block with Mr. Johnson. We were talking about something, and I think it might help you. And he said, well, what do you want? What is it? Because that's a good question. He said, well, why don't you come in, have some coffee? We'll talk about it. One step. And again, I just think it's awesome that a few of the leaders have taken time to be on this call, because some of us get to that, to that point where we're developing a plan, but we get jammed up on one step. And once you take that leap, when I did that, I went to hundreds of doors, and I was getting sales every day in in a place where you think nobody would open the door. And they were just opening it with smiles. And of course you get rejected and you get used to that.
Sure.
But I think it's so important. This mastermind group is Napoleon Hill. What you're doing right now, I think is going to really, really, show some real huge dividends. And again, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time, walking through the valley of stupid. There's a lot of people that will bring people into the business, but walking through the valley of stupid with them until they start going. Many people will say, hey, look, it's easy for me to work with winners, but I got a few people down here, and I don't know about them, so I'll just leave them alone. But it's really nice that people are taking time and doing that, and I think you'll see a lot of benefits from this. I'm going to do my best to try to stay on the call and be with you guys, because I think it's a lot of work to be done.
Thank
The
you for your
Valley is
comments.
stupid, Bob. I've never heard that one.
The
Yeah,
Valley of Stupid.
man. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Here's the beautiful thing about the valley. If there's valley, there's a light at the end of the valley, because it's in between
Yeah,
the mountains. So
right.
if you walk with somebody and you get through that, not only do you build, and you guys already seen it, you build friendship, you build relationships, you've done some big things, and it's all, and you're probably looking at a guy who you might have looked at a couple of years ago and say, I don't know about this guy, and all of a sudden it was huge. His business grew, and he was doing well, and you're opening up new markets out there, Puerto Rico, and I look forward to February. Hopefully, everything, God willing, I'll be there at the event. So, thank you guys.
Good
Excellent.
deal, Bob. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
You mentioned doors. Some reason or another, I seem to like studies. The study was done where a company called people in, called a analyzer in, is the best thing I can say, come up with now. And they asked him, our insurance company isn't doing very well. What's wrong with us? What do we need to do? And the answer was, you need to knock on more doors and put it in front of people. Well, they paid the man a whole lot of money to come in and tell them that. You mean they paid you this much money, and all you can come up with is we need to get in front of more people? He says, yeah. Why don't we do this? The next time, over the next month, what you're going to do is you're going to go out, knock on the doors, and you say one thing only. You don't, when knock, 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 come to the door, you don't want to buy insurance, do you? And first off, that's in my mind, that's bad. However, I think they increased 50% of their insurance sales just by saying that. And he says, I'm telling
That's
you,
interesting.
just knock on more doors. And for
Yeah.
us, just get in front of more people.
That's a quick filter right there. Thanks,
Definitely.
Ron.
You're welcome.
And I got a question for Fernando. I just had to get this off my mind. But if sometimes I look at us like we don't want to shoot wide. We're kind of like snipers. We want to find the guys that show potential to be good or embracing of the business, and then go after them. Or Dr. Parker, you can jump in too, because again, we could waste so much time taking that like that machine gun approach, and just having all kind of people that have no interest in this and don't want to do it, and we could use different tactics for that. But what do you guys think?
Well, here's one thing that I want to let everyone know. My career in sales, Bob. I had a friend. I was actually the last one in the family that they contacted. My two brothers got started in the business world back in the 90s. So long story short, I met a person that my brother recruited, and he was a good salesman. And he would not be afraid to knock on doors, talk to people, and I would. He was a newspaper salesman, right?
Mm.
And he would send out stores, and that's how my brother met him. And he approached them, and the guy says, "I'm ready. I'm interested. I'm jumping on." Long story short, my brother didn't know how to teach me sales, so
Mm.
he got me to pair up with this guy, and we started in insurance. When Ron mentioned the insurance world, I started in the insurance world. Well, we started on an area door knocking, and this is what changed my life forever. So everybody can understand why sales is so crucial. We knocked on a door, and there was a lady that opened up the door, and then my friend approached the door and says, "Hi, how you doing? Is your husband home?" Well, he's not. What can I help you with? And long story short, he goes, "Well, we're actually here in the area trying to find a way to open up an office where we can help communities here." And she goes, "Doing what?" "We help families, plan for their financial future. And we're doing a little survey here in the area." Well, my husband is here, is going to get here home a little bit later. Long story short, we're walking away, and the husband drove in from work. What happened? Right away, instantly, he goes, "Come into the house. I want to hear what you got to say." Just like that. So, Bob, what happens afterwards? 30 days later, we sold an insurance policy to that family. The wife passed away, not knowing
Oh,
that was going to happen. So, when that happened, first I was like, is our company getting paid the death claim? Well, guess what? 30 days later, the company paid the death claim. That changed my life forever. I says, if I'm not knocking on the door, I'm not helping a family. I got to knock on the door so I can help the next family. And that changed my life forever. It got me to stay here in this business because of that knock on that door.
Thank you for that story. That's very powerful. Thank you.
life changing. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Fernando, my part is done, sir. If you're ready to move us on to our next activity, the platform is yours.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, David. It's great to be back here with everyone. I want us to be able to eventually, as these stories that we talk about today, we got to start thinking more about the people that we can impact. And the good thing about it is nowadays, if you look at sales, Bob, we can use a cell phone, make 5, 10 calls. We're going to have our presenter of presenters today, Dr. G.W. Parker. I mean, I want to put people in front of him. So I'm talking with a lady in Tennessee, and right now she says, I'm going to jump on. So as I'm here, I'm doing my work, paying attention to what David's doing. So I'm actually doing my little, knock on doors, Bob. So if we can get one person, each and every one of us, we can definitely have 35 to 40 people in the next 15 minutes. We got to have a sense of urgency. We got to be intentional when we make the contact. So we're going to play some music. We're going to stop the recording. Thanks again, David, so much. I'm so excited to be back. All right, the recording is stopping now.